So let's have a little bit of talk about this. This is the carriage. This is the part of the lathe that you'll sort of interact with the most when you are actually cutting material. There's a few key parts to it. As I say, it's called the carriage overall, but that is made up of various sections. So this top section is called the saddle, and the saddle sits on top of the bed. So the bed of the machine and the rails, the saddle sits on top of them and moves upwards and downwards. The front of the machine down here, this is called the apron, and the apron holds quite a lot of controls. We'll talk about that separately in a moment. We have the cross slide. So this part here is our tool post and it sits on the cross slide. Now this hand wheel controls the cross slide. So as I rotate this hand wheel, we'll see the cross slide moves forwards and backwards. On top of the cross slide we have a compound slide, and the compound slide again moves forwards and backwards. This is for making more sort of minute adjustments to the dimensions. And finally we have a big hand wheel down here, and this big hand wheel will drive the entire carriage into position. So it's worth remembering that with pretty much all of these hand wheels, all we're doing is we're moving the tool post into a position where we want to have our tool cut. So we'll make big adjustments with the by moving the carriage itself forwards and backwards. We can then move our cross slide forwards and backwards, and then we can use our compound slide to make minute adjustments. On the back of the carriage you'll see we have, in this case we have a steel arrangement which is for the coolant. So when we turn the coolant on, we can position our nozzle accordingly, and then there's a little tap on the back that allows us to control the flow and how much coolant we are releasing onto our part. Some carriages also have a guard, so this one has a plastic guard up on the top here. So I'm lifting that out of the way for the purposes of this demonstration, but when you start cutting, bring it down and it'll stop you from getting covered in coolant. Especially if you are using coolant, a guard like that can really help save you from getting covered in it. There's a few extra little bit pieces here. So this is a stop, and we can adjust this stop so that when we put the automatic feed on the carriage and it's driving on its own, this stop will tell the carriage sort of when to stop.